Listening to an honest conversation between Jackie Taylor and Pastor Steve Lee about empowering women in ministry. And I want to take note of this. This video was pre-recorded before COVID. Welcome to a podcast about disciple making in the public square, where we talk about everyday issues from a biblical and balanced perspective. This is where life exists. Welcome back to Where Life Exists, where we talk about everyday issues from a biblical and balanced perspective. My name is Dahadi Lewis, and I am the lead pastor of Blueprint Church and the vice president of the Send Network. And today, we're going to listen into a conversation between two of my friends, Jackie Taylor and Pastor Steve Lee. And as they talk honestly about empowering women in ministry, we are so glad you're watching with us today on Where Life Exists, and hope this video gives you tools to engage everyday issues from a biblical and balanced perspective. Welcome to my Boulevard.
What's up, everybody? This is Stephen Lee, and I have the pleasure to be here with Jackie Taylor, a good friend of mine. Jackie, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Happy to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. We're going to talk a little bit about life, ministry. Before we do that, I'd love for you to just take a couple moments to share with folks a little bit, just about your background, where you're ministering right now, and just what's going on. Tell a little bit about just who you are.
Well, I'm Jackie Taylor. My husband is James Taylor. We have 4 kids. Our church is in Portsmouth, Virginia. And my husband gives me the distinct honor of doing women's ministry there at the church, which is my heartbeat. And then I'm privileged to be able to be the wives trainer for the New York cohort with Boulevard.
You come alongside of aspiring church planting wives, and you kind of help them to breathe a little bit, to relax, to not feel at times the pressure that at times women feel coming in ministry, feeling like they've got to be first lady, everything.
Absolutely.
So would you talk a little bit about some of the things that you often encounter when maybe we'll talk just about, for perspective, ministry wives, just some of the issues, some of the challenges that you face that you often find yourself having to encourage them in?
Well, I think the two things that I see the most is just feeling like you have to be on one side of the spectrum or the other side. Either it's I just need to sit here and look pretty and not say anything side of the spectrum, or I need to be superwoman and I need to handle everything. And one of the ways that God has really just encouraged my heart in that is looking at the Proverbs 31 woman. Most times when women hear Proverbs 31, we kind of roll our eyes up in the back of our head.
I don't bring her up in my house.
She can start some trouble. She really can. But I think that what's so important to realize about her is, number one, I like to say she had a crew. If you read Proverbs 31, it's always saying she and her servants help. And so it really relieves the pressure of feeling like you have to be everything. It's not just you. I feel like with the Proverbs 31 woman, it was more about her influence and her ability to make good decisions and to have a group of women who were confident in her decision making, so much so that they were willing to follow her. And I think that one of the other ways that she really encourages those women who are kind of like me, who kind of have a little bit of a big personality, who find ourselves kind of trying to manage that, is that it says that her husband had confidence in her. And that part of the reason that he was spoken well of at the gates was because of his wife. And so just being able to encourage women, you don't have to dumb down who you are. Who you are, this woman out there who she was buying fills and making clothes and all of these things. She was an entrepreneur. She had several businesses. She had a lot going on with her. And part of the reason whether that her husband was spoken well of was because of who she was. And so just helping women to understand, who may be professional or even passionate about areas of ministry, that it is important to know that your submission to your husband and your priorities with your family come first always. But a part of who you are is what helps to make your husband great. So just kind of lining that up.
That's good. If you were going to give just a word of encouragement to husbands whose wives, and here's what I love about you, that they were gifted before they met them.
Absolutely.
They had a call on their life before they ever met their husbands, before they ever start dating, texting. If you were going to give kind of a word of encouragement, exhortation to husbands as they seek to integrate their wives in their ministry. Maybe just talk just a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's so important for husbands to do two things. Yeah. Number one, which is something that comes from our cohort, that communication piece. Yeah. Clearly communicate what your expectations are. And don't go into this conversation with your wife like, this is what I said and this is what it's going to be. Yeah. Because she's your wife. She's not your child. Yeah. That's just what it is. So clearly communicate those expectations, and then you two together go through measuring them. Can we really do this? This thing that I'm asking you to do, can you really do that? Yeah. Am I going to have to get you some help to do that? What is this really going to look like? And being willing to compromise. And I think the most powerful thing, which is really like my heartbeat, the most powerful thing that a husband can do for his wife, whether it's a ministry planning wife, a team that's been in ministry for years, a team that has no aspirations to be in ministry, is make sure that your wife has a group of women surrounding her. Whether it's just 2, it can be 10. It really doesn't need to be a whole bunch, because this is that transparent, 100% authentic group that she can be the whole of who she is with on good days and on bad days. And that's so important, because when you have that and there's that place that you don't have to put on and you don't have to worry about hurting somebody's feelings, whether you're having a good day or a bad day or good week or month or bad week or month, there's a sense of renewal there, and there's a sense of sisterhood there that nothing else compares with and nothing else can take the place of.
That's good. That's good. My hope in this is to be able to encourage not just church planting wives, not just women in ministry, but also, again, I think this dynamic of the church planting couple. Yeah, so maybe just some words of exhortation, some words of encouragement for wives and husbands as we close.
Well, I think that one of the realest things to remember is that you're going to have hard times. Yeah. You're going to have times as a wife where your husband is running with the stallions and you're like, what is going on? Yeah. And it is so important for both wives and husbands to take those times to really see each other in ways that nobody else around you may not understand what it is, because it can be things that you can do right in the midst of a crowd, right in the midst of a conference. If it's that specialty that you see, for instance, my husband, he loves the crackers, those little cookies that you get on Delta flights. He loves them. I don't know why he loves them. I mean, I think they're good, but he loves them. And I was walking through the grocery store last week and I saw them. I was like, oh my God, they're in the store. Yeah. And so I picked them up and I brought them home. Yeah. And that's a moment of like, hey, I see you. I recognize little things that are important to you. Yeah. And it's so, it's life-changing when you can find those snapshots and those moments. Because here's the truth. As a church planting couple, you're going to be busier than you've ever been. Yeah. You're going to be pulled in more directions than you've ever been in. Yeah. My husband and I have people, and we've always had people who lived in our home. Yeah. So, you're going to be being observed more than you've ever been. Yeah. So just being able to take those snapshots. Sometimes we wait for I'm going to do a candlelight dinner and I'm going to do this. Yeah. If you only, you may not have that time. Or the energy when you do have the time. Yeah. So just taking those snapshots, those little moments in time to make each other feel special and to remind each other, I see you, I know you, I'm for you, and I'm with you, I think is one of the things that will keep you from looking back with resentment or keep you from feeling, that will keep wives, when husbands take the time to do that, will keep their wives from feeling like this is his thing and I'm just kind of chained to the vision, chained to the mission. I'm getting dragged. Yeah. I heard someone, a pastor's wife once say, our husbands have this sentence and we're kind of like the accomplice. Everybody else gets to come and go, but we have to stay. And I, in my heart, just don't want to feel that way about the mission. It's a privilege to walk alongside a visionary. Yeah. Sometimes a taxing privilege, but a privilege nonetheless. Yeah. So just taking those moments in time and space, even when no one else knows what's going on, to just say, I see you, and having that inside consistent intimacy, I think changes things.
That's important.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Want to see more content like this? Check out our website, betheblueprint.net. And we will see you back next week as we tackle more issues from a biblical and balanced perspective here on Where Life Exists.